Right, good afternoon YouTube. For many photographers, wildlife and otherwise, I'm sure we all make plenty of notes. Now I have spent the last 3 years carrying books of this type, 3.5 by 5.5, and I've always really liked them as a big solid book. I write down bullet points of things that I want to discuss, angles I want to shoot, places I want to go, and it has been something that has been very important to me. In fact, when I lost it at one point, I was quite distraught because I've carried a lot of information on this. But over the last year, possibly, I have got a little bit tired of looking for a ruler or the highlighter pen or a pencil that's in the bag along with it somewhere. Now, I've been on YouTube, looked at plenty of reviews of field note books, the kind of the 24, 48 sheets field notes, again 3.5 by 5.5 inches, and I found some really good reviews on some good products, but most of them seem to only be available in America. And I found one that is nigh on identical to one they sell in America through Amazon, which I purchased a few months ago, and I've been very pleased with it. Now it's a waxed canvas, 5.5 by 3.5 inches. They do them in a couple of colours, black and an olive green. They do come pre-waxed. I think it's like a paraffin wax, but I have added to it. I use Greenland wax by Fjallraven, and I've used that on all my Fjallraven clothes and all of my canvas bushcraft pouches. Penetration is good, water repellency is good. Now I'll leave a link in the description below for these on Amazon. This is quite a good grade canvas. It has YKK zippers. The stitching seems to be nice and strong. The pouches are a good size. It has a pocket on the front and on the back, or when it's opened, I was expecting it to be one giant pouch, but it is actually a stitch down the spine, making it into two separate pouches. You can, if you want to, put a spare book in the back. These are just standard field note books. You can buy these in lots of 1 or 5 or 10s or 20s. I think I paid about £12 for 5 of these. Again, I'll put a link in the description below. There are affiliate links on there in a small amount, but this is just to say that Amazon happens to be where I got them from. So you can probably get them on auction sites, in the shops, but most of my stuff I acquire through Amazon. Just because if I don't like it, it's easy to send back, and I don't have anywhere around here that I can go into and look at these kind of books. Maybe a WH Smith's. You can imagine the prices that they will be. Anyway, these are 24 pages, 48 sided field note books. Much slimmer, much smaller, and I just date when I started using it and when I ended using it, and then I move on to the next book, and then I'll just keep these stashed somewhere. Now they do these in plain, they do them in lined, they do them in this square kind of box section, and that's what I've gone for, the square box section. So this has a front pocket and a back pocket. The front pocket I've used only to keep a ruler, a pen, a Sharpie and a highlighter, and that's just because that's the way I work. Where I underline, I draw little pictures and sketches, and sometimes I want to use a ruler. It's also quite nice to have just a little 6-inch ruler with me, so if I want to measure footprints or distances between prints, I always find a ruler is a good thing to have with. They don't scrimp on space. There's plenty of room to have the field notebook in there. It has pockets on both sides, so you could have one in either side if you really wanted to. One in that side, one in the front and back cover, up to you. You could literally load this up. There is plenty of room. There's room for your credit cards or whatever you want to carry with you. I just carry some of my some of my cards, which just has kind of my Instagram channels and my YouTube channel on it, so when people stop me and ask me, I can just hand a card out instead of trying to explain to them where and what all my sites are. As I was saying, there's no scrimping in space. It's a good quality lined pouch, plenty of space, YKK zippers, good overall stitching, and so far over the last couple of months I have got to the stage where I wish I'd been using it for a long time previously. Like I said, I always carried around this and separate pen, separate ruler, separate pencil, etc. And it always rummaged to find. Because it's so big, it used to live in my bag, not in my pocket, just because of the weight of it. Whereas this, with the field notes in there, is still lighter than just this book. And because there's a bit of give to it as well, I find that in my leg pocket is much more comfortable than that rattling around in my leg pocket. This I have carried in my pocket every time I've been out since I purchased, as opposed to that would be sometimes in a pocket but mostly in a bag. And especially if I'm walking and I want to write something, I suddenly thought of something, I either can't be bothered to take this out of my bag, or I get my pen out of a pocket and write it on the back of my hand, which is not that great a way of organising yourself. So there we have it, a great little notebook, notepad cover. I mean, they call it a notebook cover, used for field notes, notebooks, pocket notebook, 3.5 inches by 5.5 inches, diary cover with zipper, pen holder, covered wax canvas army green. Link in the description below. Have you got any questions about it? Please leave it in the comments below. I will leave a link in the description for these and the 5-pack of notebooks, and I'll also leave a link for the Greenland wax by Fjällräven. If you have any questions on any of these, please leave it in the comments below and I promise to answer them as soon as I see them. Hopefully this has given you an idea of whether or not you would want one, would like one, would use one. All the photographers I know do either use this kind of thing or that kind of thing, but I must admit, since having moved over to this, I wish I'd started with that over 10 years ago. Would have been so much easier. Now in recent weeks I've been carrying one of these, or a very similar one of these, in my pocket in case I need to write things down. Now again, I do use my mobile phone for notes, and I think a lot of people do, but sometimes it's nice to just scribble it down, and I've usually got a pen on me. In fact, there's like a little EDC pouch which is by Diodrio, and I will probably do a review on this leather one. Not quite yet because I haven't had it very long, but this is made by Diodrio, not quite sure how to pronounce it, but it's the company that make the American version of that made me see this. And I actually did purchase this from America, and I could have done with that, but I didn't. I bought one from the UK, but I ordered that from America and it took kind of nearly 2 weeks to come. But I've weathered the leather a bit, and so far I have been very impressed with it, as have I with its contents, which a torch and a pen, and a folding knife, which I think I will do a review on at some point. If you've liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you don't subscribe, I'd love you to. And if you do, don't forget to click on the notification bell. That will let you know each time a new video comes out. So until next time, thanks for watching. Bye for now.